Welcome back to Devon and to Dartmoor. Do you know, I've been here probably 3 dozen times now in this area, and I keep finding new things to see and new places to stay. And today I'm on the Tavistock Road near Oakhampton again, and I've come to see a little bit of industrial heritage. I'm off to Wheel Betsy, and which I believe is the only remaining or the only surviving remains of an engine house in Devon. There's lots in Cornwall, but I believe that this is the only remaining one in Devon. I'll tell you a little bit more about it when we get there. Well, there it is. It's rather good. I like it from this angle. And I'm not going to pretend to be some great expert in industrial heritage, but I do rather like this, and I think it'll make a great photo study, particularly at night. And I've done some similar shots down in Cornwall, and I'll just throw a couple up on screen to give you an idea of what I've done before. In fact, that was my first night light painting shoot that I did, was on one of the tin mines engine houses down in Cornwall many years ago, and so I'm hoping to do something similar today and see whether or not I can improve on it in terms of my technique, see how much that's changed over the years. And so this opened, well, there's records of it being open around about 1740 apparently, and it closed for a while. I think it was open for several decades, 30-40 years, something like that, and it closed. Reopened early 1800s, 1806 I think from memory, and then finally closed in 1877. And the story is that at some point after, or sort of, I think it was after World War II, a local landowner wanted rid of it really, and was going to get the army to blow it up as part of a training exercise. Fortunately, someone bought the land, and bought the engine house, and subsequently donated it to the National Trust, who now look after it. And so I'm just really pleased that someone all those years ago, in the 1950s I think, had the foresight to save this for future generations. Now the only remaining engine house in Devon. Amazing. Okay, so I've got a slight change of plan. Tonight I was planning to go up to near Tor, up on the moors, to a place called Wheel Frederick, which is the remains of a mining building. It's about 600 meters, I think, roughly east of Tor. But I'm actually quite impressed with this site, and I'd really like to photograph it. I'm not going to get many opportunities, so even if the sky isn't clear of cloud, I think actually it could be quite a nice light painting subject. So I'm going to stick around here. I'll stick around for sunset, and then have a break between then and probably about 11:30, something like that. And then tomorrow night I think I will go up on the moors, and I'll go back to Tor, because there's another opportunity for a Milky Way shot and a day-to-night time-lapse up there. Looking from Tor to Great Staple Tor is, roughly speaking, kind of due south, and south to sort of southwest, and I'm hoping that I might get a shot with the Milky Way tomorrow night there, and if I'm really lucky, a time lapse. So that's the plan. I'm going to stick around here. I'll find somewhere to pitch a tent. I reckon that this space could lend itself to just putting a little light in here, small light, just to add a little bit of ambience because we don't have any moonlight tonight. It's pretty much a new moon. We can't light any of the background up, and again there's not going to be any significant ambient light. Above all, I want to make sure that I do manage to get the Milky Way in at least a number of the shots. I'm a bit rusty at the moment, haven't been able to get out as much this year as I would have liked to, and so I think I'm going to simplify things tonight, and I'm going to concentrate on just photographing this tower, this building, and see what I can make of it. So in the distance over there is Brent Tor, and St Catherine's Church, I think it is, or is it St Michael's? One or the other. But that's where I came to do a night shoot not so long ago. And this is a view of it from, I think it's Gibbet Hill, which is quite near to Wheel Betsy, where I'm going to be photographing this evening. So it's all pretty close by, really. Well, it's quite a nice evening, and I thought I might as well do a shot or two around sunset, which is in about 25 minutes or so. There's a little bit of colour in the sky, not a lot. Unfortunately, there's quite a bit of cloud looking on the far horizon over there past the building, and so it's quite likely that that will obscure the Milky Way core this evening. So there's not much more to do. We'll see if there's any more colour arrives between now and sunset in terms of the clouds, and I might try one or two other compositions, and if they're any good, I will show them to you now. Unfortunately, it is clouding over. It's not supposed to do this. It's supposed to be about 18% cloud, and just in the last few minutes these clouds have gathered. Well, maybe they'll disappear just as quickly. Good evening. It's about 10 past 2, quarter past 2 in the morning, and I'm absolutely delighted to say that at last, on one of my trips, the stars have absolutely come out to play. Just beautiful, beautiful expanse of, wide expanse of sky, pretty much from horizon to horizon. I'm so glad though that I didn't go up on the moors tonight, because I can see that there is cloud over the moors, low cloud or hill fog, and so I think if I was up there I'd probably have been out of luck. But it means the decision to stay here and to shoot this amazing old engine house has just been such a good decision. I'm so pleased. I think I'm going to have some real cracking shots out of this. We're running out of darkness though. We're back into astronomical twilight now, so on diminishing returns now, but so far I've mainly concentrated on just doing straightforward either single shots or 16 shots at a time on interval timer, so that I can stack those with Starry Landscape Stacker. I'm going to attempt now to set up though the tracker to do a tracked sky. I've shot separate images, 16 separate images of the Milky Way on its own with a clear horizon, and then I've shot some separate foreground images as well, and I've also played around with my nightlight filter
from Nissi, which I have to say does make the colour of the sky look so much better, and it really does clear up the Milky Way quite a lot. So it's amazing how little light pollution there seems to be here at the moment. So this is proving to be a really good night. Hopefully I'll get some decent images out of this, and if so, here they are.
I'm at Merivale in Dartmoor. I've been here a few times. It's about a half-hour drive from Oakhampton. And I'm here because, in theory, we should have a clear sky tonight. Hopefully a bit like last night. And I was really pleased with the conditions last night in the end. It did eventually cloud over, but honestly I take what I got with both hands, and I hope that I've got some good pictures out of that. Anyway, there's a picture I've been wanting to get here for quite a long time, and it's the view from Roost Tor back towards Great Staple Tor. And on a night where there's no moon and we've got a good clear Milky Way. I have been here, I don't know, 4 or 5 times hoping that that might happen, and on each occasion it's not worked out for one reason or another, mostly weather. So maybe today is the day. So the plan here with this little ascent was to try and circumvent the clitter field, a bit like I did at West Mill Tor a couple of months back. But as you can see, this clitter field just goes on and on and on. Found a little bit of a break in it here, but in any moment I shall be back in amongst it. Can't avoid it forever. Welcome to the latter part of day 2 of this road trip, and so here I am. I'm on Roost Tor. I do have company here tonight. There's a couple of lads up the top of the Tor. I'm down the bottom of it, and actually I think that'll work okay because it'll mean I'll have a slightly more upward elevation in terms of angle of the camera looking up towards the Tor, so we'll get a little bit more of the Milky Way, and not a lot, it won't make a big difference. I've got 2 setups behind me. It's probably too dark to see now, and but the first one that's already going, and I'm hoping to do a day to night time lapse on that one, so I've set it up to go. And then the second setup that I've got is with the Laowa, and I've put the night filter on that, and that's really just for me to take stills of the Milky Way. I hope that the sky will stay clear. It's cleared at the moment. It's getting quite chilly, and the Milky Way should be pretty much, the Milky Way core should rise pretty much in the middle of the peaks. I don't think we'll be able to see them here, but Great Staple Tor is in the background right behind me over there, and at least according to PhotoPills, the Milky Way core should rise right between what effectively is a sort of gateway formed by the 2 uppermost parts of the peak there. Right, the first disaster of the evening. Unfortunately, when I reset the time lapse on the Nikon over there, the Z6, it reverted to the previous settings from my last shoot.
because of the way I took the battery out without powering off, it just lost all those settings that I'd set up this evening. So unfortunately, I've had to restart it, and it's nearly dark already. Never mind, you live and learn, don't you? While I'm on, I might as well say a little bit about the setup. I've put the camera in P mode, and it's auto ISO, and I set a maximum ISO of 4000, so it won't go any higher than that. I wanted to set a minimum shutter speed as well, but I just cannot find where to set that. I've hunted and hunted through the menus and I cannot find it. So it may be that the camera just tries to compensate for the dark too much and we end up with a lot of very bright shots. We'll see. So when it's in P mode, what it will do is, first of all, it will alter the shutter speed, and then it will alter the aperture. When it can't get the right exposure by adjusting the aperture anymore, it will adjust the shutter speed, and when it can't adjust the shutter speed anymore, it will then adjust the ISO, something like that. So there's sort of 3 phases to this, and hopefully it will just sort out all of that magically. Exposure smoothing is on as well. There's a whole raft of settings. Manual focus. I've turned off long exposure, noise reduction, all of that kind of stuff as well. I really need a checklist. There's about 10 or 12 things, something like that, that you need to do to make this work. And one of these days I'll make a checklist to make sure that it all goes okay. Anyway, enough blabbering on now, I'm waffling, and I'll catch you again later. Do this piece to camera now rather than when I get out there, because the lighting, I don't want to mess up the lighting on the time lapse. Quick look out, it's nearly midnight and it's crystal clear out there. Stars look amazing, so I'm going to get out and start doing my astrophotography thing. Well, this is day 3 and I'm going to head home today. I had entertained some ideas of maybe having a third night somewhere on Dartmoor, but I've got to say I'm exhausted and running on empty, and so it is time to head home. But what a beautiful place this has been to spend my second night. Every time I come out and do some astrophotography, I learn more about it and I get more familiar with the gear and what to do. So it's been a good couple of days. I am very tired, but I am looking forward to getting stuff back on the computer and see what I have managed to get out of this trip. Anyway, thank you very much for making it this far. If I have had any pictures worth showing, I'll do a little slideshow now, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.